Jennifer went to get them.
We're going to hold for just a minute here.
Humble things.
I don't know. Jennifer went to look for them. Holding.
I think Neil volunteered to send them in case.
Yeah.
Oh, there they are. Okay. All right, we can go ahead. Okay, we can go ahead and get started. Are you ready in the booth? Good. Okay, we will call to order the meeting of the Grand Traverse County Board of Commissioners for Wednesday, December 20th, 2017. Will please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So before we start today, we have some special guests. I have invited the Traverse City Central High School Choralaires to come and sing a few songs for us. So, if we could have them come in, please, and turn your microphones out. And we are going to go out there so that we can listen.
Oh,
Yes, we are.
The first piece we will be singing is Turn Up the Bells. Oh, how the bells, sweet silver bells, all seem to say, throw cares away, Christmas is here, bringing good cheer to young and old, meek and the poor. Ding dong, ding dong, that is their song, ding dong, ding dong. One seems to hear words of good cheer from everywhere, filling the air. Oh, how they praise the song, while people sing songs of good cheer, Christmas is here. Ding dong, that is a song with joyful ring, dong, caroling, ding dong, ding dong. Christmas is here, bringing good cheer to young and old, meek and the poor. Ding dong, that is a song with joyful ring, dong. One seems to hear words of good cheer from everywhere, filling the air. Oh, they praise the song, while people sing songs of good cheer, Christmas is here. Ding dong, that is a song with joyful ring, dong, ding dong, ding ding. On they send on without end their joyful tone to every home. Ding dong, Our next piece is called Mistletoe. In the doorway of my kitchen, you might get an awful itching to give somebody a big holiday smooch. Or if you would look above your head, you'd see the green and white and red and put that little plant to use. It's a fearsome old tradition in the doorway of my kitchen, and there's hardly anyone who can escape. Let me out of here! If you stand inside that doorway, someone's bound to make it your way, and unless you duck real fast, too late. I want no part of this holiday kissing. I know just what I'm missing, and it's fine. When my uncle kissed his fiancée, I thought they would be there all day. I don't see any use for mistletoe. No, 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 no. I don't see any use for mistletoe. Well, Aunt Bertha nearly drowned me when she put her arms around me and said, "Fancy that, now there's a mistletoe!" It was most unpleasant, but I knew she had my present, so I let her kiss me while I held my nose. I want no part of this holiday kissing. I know just what I'm missing, and it's fine. I don't want to smooch or kiss or peck, not on my cheek or face or neck. I don't see any use for mistletoe. No, 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 no. I don't see any use for mistletoe. Get this. Once a kid across the street came to our house for a treat, hoping for a cookie or some pie. In the doorway he was standing when old Rover made a landing and licked that kid until I thought he'd die. Everyone's into this holiday kissing. I know just what I'm missing, and it's F-I-N-E, fine. From Aunt Bertha to Rover, when will kissing time be over? I don't see any use for mistletoe. No, 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 I don't.
Well, maybe.
Nah, I don't see any use for mistletoe. Ugh.
And this is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. You know Dasher and Dancer and Prancer and Vixen, Comet and Cupid and Donner and Blitzen.
But do you recall
The most famous reindeer of all.
Ba-da-da-dip-da-dip-da-dip-da-dip-da, Rudy, the red-nosed reindeer. Rudy.
We're talking Rudolph, ooh, we're talking reindeer. 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 We're talking Rudolph. Like the light bulb. The other reindeer, ooh, the other reindeer. They laughed and called him names, the other reindeer. The other reindeer, ooh, the other reindeer. He never played games. Then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say,
Won't you guide my sleigh tonight?
Bumba, 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 Rudy.
then all the reindeer, ooh, the reindeer loved him. Then all the reindeer, ooh, the reindeer loved him. We're talking Rudolph, ooh, we're talking reindeer. We're talking Rudolph, we're talking Rudolph, ooh, we're talking reindeer. Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer, wah. Santa came to say,
Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight? Hummany, 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 Rudolph.
then all the reindeer, ooh, the reindeer loved him. Then all the reindeer, ooh, the reindeer loved him. We're talking Rudolph, ooh, we're talking reindeer. We're talking Rudolph. We're talking Rudolph.
Names forever.
You'll go down in history.
We're talking reindeer. Dip-da-dip-da-dip-da.
Rudolph, yeah.
Okay, and then we will be singing Silent Night, and we hope that you join with us.
Silent night, holy night, all is gone, all is light. Bright and virgin mother and child, holy infant, so tender and mild, sleep in We wish you a Merry Christmas, we wish you a Merry Christmas, we wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
You're festive now, aren't you?
No. Very good.
All right, are we all back? On with county business. Merry Christmas. Thank you very much for the Traverse City Central High School corollaries. That was
Your
beautiful.
microphone's back, boys.
Yes, microphone's back. Everybody ready? Okay, roll call, please, Bonnie.
Johnson,
Here.
Klaus,
Here.
Gorfulet. Here. Mayor,
Here.
Crawford,
Here.
and Commissioners Wheelock and Lathrop are excused tonight.
Okay, we have approval of the minutes. We have the minutes of December 6th, 2017, which was a regular session, and December 13th, 2017, the study session.
Move to approve.
Support.
Moved by Commissioner Gorfulet, supported by Commissioner Klaus. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. Now is our chance for first public comment. Bonnie, please.
Any person shall be permitted to address a meeting of the Board of Commissioners which is required to be open to the public under the provision of the Michigan Open Meetings Act. Public comment shall be carried out in accordance with the following board rules and procedures. Any person wishing to address the board shall state his or her name and address. No person shall be allowed to speak more than once on the same matter, excluding time needed to answer commissioners' questions, if any. The chairperson shall control the amount of time each person shall be allowed to speak, which shall not exceed 3 minutes. The chairperson may, at his or her discretion, extend the amount of time any person is allowed to speak. Public comment will be solicited during the 2 public comment periods noted in Rule 5.4 Order of Business. However, public comment will generally be received at any time during the meeting regarding a specific topic currently under discussion by the board. Members of the public wishing to comment should raise their hand or pass a note to the clerk in order to be recognized and shall not address the board until called upon by the chairperson.
Okay, thank you. Anybody for first public comment? Go ahead.
Good evening. Thank you, Commissioner, for having the corollaries come. I enjoyed them as well.
Good.
My name is Joanne Tuck. I live in Blair Township. I'm a county resident. I'm also a former county employee, namely in the HR department. And I'm here to talk about an article that came to light in the December 7th Record Eagle article about the excess payments for opt-out workers. And there were some things in it that I wanted to clarify. And it kind of left me with a feeling that it all happened while we were short-staffed. And I want to clear that up. Amy Carroll and I were sole employees from July to when I left in December and she left in December. So at that point, she and I were handling all the things going on in the department. I resigned early December. When I resigned to Jody Lundquist, who had been overseeing the HR department. At that time, I offered to come back and help acclimate the new people that would be hired into HR. I never got a call. I also mentioned that there was another employee in the county still that knew how to do this, and they could probably call in her. That didn't happen. So here comes this article with overpayments, and I knew this was going to happen. And it's unfortunate. It could have been avoided. It was April when I realized that I was still being covered under Priority Health. So I called and notified HR. I'm still active. Oops, we better take care of that. It was said that if we had a county benefits administrator and better software, that this probably wouldn't have happened. And to this point, I'm going to say, we've always been able to handle it. It has always been handled. The gap was that there was no consistency from when we left and when the new people came on. So when it says that it's the software, it's not the software. When it's a benefits administrator, maybe there's a gap. And I would also caution that there's probably some other payments that I have already brought to your attention that were probably missed or overpaid. And so I wanted to clear the air that unto the point that Amy and I left, we were flush, we were doing good. We were enrolling and disenrolling. And I think it's not just the opt-out. I think there's more. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Hi, Don Sheehan, 6360 Hertner Road, Traverse City, Michigan, Long Lake Township. I'm former county IT director. And I kind of came for Joanne also. You know, I just didn't like that article in the Record Eagle. Really kind of passed insinuation of those employees, and maybe it's their fault that that was, you know, left out or something. And, you know, the county lost a great employee when Joanne left. And I knew that she had offered also her assistance and never got a call. I did that same thing. I offered my assistance, and I know my employees were told they couldn't call. And so, you know, it's no surprise to me that the county was left in this situation. When, you know, you go from a department of 0 employees with no transition in there, you know, this is going to happen. And, but the article also stated that, you know, the finance director knew about it months ago. And, you know, we're not that big a county. 500 employees, 15 opt-outs. You know, an audit should take like a day. Look at the open enrollment records. Look at what we're being charged. I mean, why did that go on for months? And so I just, you know, let's not blame the past employees. That's what I'd like to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yes, sir?
Paul Johnson, county employee. I live at 7762 Wood Road, Paradise Township, Kinsley, Michigan. And tonight you're going to be voting on a contract terms for the general unit for Teamsters General Unit. And I think it's a travesty that the 5 remaining people on the defined benefit plan got thrown underneath the bus in this. We put in 20 years or better of good quality service for the citizens of Grand Traverse County, and in the end of our careers, we're just getting tossed under the bus and our retirements are getting chopped up. And it's not about paying the percentage. We offered to pay a percentage, but the drastic cuts that they're making to the retirement plan really changed the whole outcome of our retirement planning. And our retirement planning started 20 years ago when we came to work here. At the end of our careers, now you want another $270 a month plus the 20% on the health insurance increase. Doesn't leave a whole lot and a lot too much time left to really make up the difference of what I would be drawing based on what they were telling me I was going to get all these years along. And I just think it's really poor that you would pit the employees. They drove all good employees out of here, replaced them all with people that were due step increases. Once that number got high enough, then they put this stuff out there, and they got these people wanting their step increases, voting against the 5 who have been here forever, giving good service to the citizens of Grand Traverse County. And I just think it's poor. I wish you'd reconsider the decision.
Thank you. Anybody else? Nobody else? Okay, we're going to move on to approval of the agenda. We have some things to, let's start with the removal. We're going to remove 9A. That was already approved earlier in November. And everybody has in their desk, I think, a list of what we're adding, we would like to add. The Traverse Area District Library appointments, the Veterans Affairs Administrative Board restructuring and appointments, the agreement with the Teamsters Central Dispatch Unit, and the agreement with the Teamsters General Unit. So that is all going to be new business. We'll put, well,
New business or department items?
Let's put the Traverse District Library and the Veterans Affairs under the ad hoc committee as 3 and 4. That's under 10B, 3 and 4. And then the 2 union agreements we'll put as new business C and D, under 11.
So moved.
Anybody else have anything before you do that? I think that was it. Okay.
Support.
Moved by Commissioner Johnson, supported by Commissioner Gorfulet. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so we have our agenda. Try to come to things when they try to get it right. On to the consent calendar. Bonnie, please.
The purpose of the consent calendar is to expedite business by grouping non-controversial items together to be dealt with by one commission motion without discussion. Any member of the commission, staff, or the public may ask that any item on the consent calendar be removed and placed elsewhere on the agenda for full discussion. Such requests will be automatically respected. If any item is not removed from the consent calendar, the action noted, receive and file or approval, is approved by a single commission action adopting the consent calendar. A, receive and file. Number 1, Road Commission report for December. Number 2, Grand Traverse Conservation District report. Number 3, Stormwater Asset Management and Wastewater Program Grant Extension, Drain Commissioner. Number 4, County Staff Report. B, approvals. Number 1, 2018 hauler licenses. Number 2, board recommendations, City of Traverse City and Township Association. Number 3, Michigan State University Extension Contract for Extension Services.
Thank you. Does anybody from the board have anything to remove from the consent calendar to be discussed?
Well, the drain commissioner is here, so A3,
Okay,
and MSU is here, B3,
okay. Ron, you lifted your pen?
A3.
You're good?
Yep.
A3 as well? Okay. Anybody from the public like anything removed and discussed? Okay, do we have a motion?
I motion to accept.
With the exception of A3 and B3?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. Support.
Moved by Commissioner Mayer, supported by Commissioner Klaus. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. We don't have any special orders of business, so we'll move on to A3, the Stormwater Asset Management Wastewater Program Grant Extension. And here comes our Drain Commissioner.
Hello, everybody. Good evening and Merry
Hi.
Christmas. Yeah, what you have before you is a 3-year extension of the SAW grant to prepare a stormwater asset management plan for our 11 of our 13 drainage districts. This is something that really needs to happen. It was something that the previous drain commissioner applied for and received, but did nothing with it. And so when I came into office this past January, there was no transition, and so I had to do some digging, and what I found was that there was nothing expended, but had there been anything expended, the county would have been on the hook for reimbursing the MDEQ if that stormwater asset management plan had not been completed by October of 2018. I went to Jim Baker, who would have been a big part of this, talked to him, and I went to some consultants and talked to them to see if this would be possible to get done by October of 2018, and it really, it wasn't. Of course, the consultant said, sure, we can do this, you know, but no. I really knew it would have been a big push to get this done. And so I contacted the MDEQ and let them know that we were going to decline before we got the county, I guess, on the hook for money that I didn't think that we would be able to complete this plan. They responded with, if we gave you an extension, would that be something that you'd consider? And so that's what they offered. They had some money left over at the end of the fiscal year, and they offered us a 3-year extension, which is something that's going to be a great asset. This is a very much needed plan, and for our drainage districts, to bring them into the 21st century, to get those drainage districts mapped and digitized and online so that those people in those drainage districts can see where they are, what properties are in it, and also, what the assets are and what the needs are in each drainage district.
So move.
Support.
Moved by Commissioner Gorfulet, supported by Commissioner Johnson. Discussion?
Steve, was there was no payment made, no match made to this?
There is a match. There is an $8,000 match
Was there
requirement.
prior to? Did the other drain-
Yes, the exact same terms.
When does that match, when does it get paid?
Over the course of the 3 years, and that match will be coming from those existing drainage districts that are served by this grant. There's account balances on those drainage districts, and a portion of that match will come from that.
So, do we have drain districts set up where we actually have assessments to the property owners now? So is that what's paying for this?
There's an account balance on a majority of those drainage districts, and as we work on those drainage districts, the match can be drawn from those accounts.
Is that, the money in those drain districts, does that come from the county general fund, or does that come from the district, the assessment in the district?
It comes from the assessment in the district, and you can spend by law up to $5,000 per mile per drain,
Right.
so this will be far less than that.
Have people been getting assessed in those drain districts?
It was the assessment was when they were set up.
Correct.
And there was supposed to be maintenance over time, and there's been no maintenance on a majority of these drains.
It just seems to me when we are approving monies here for the drain districts, that the money comes out of the general fund and not out of the drain district.
We could do that if the county does desire, but these are maintenance, and we're going to be going in there and identifying maintenance needs and mapping out those drains, and so this is why they can be assessed or charged against those drainage districts. It's part of the maintenance.
Well, and the reason I'm asking and just wanting to know, we've never had any citizen come here and complain about them being taxed for drainage to be in a drain district, which makes me think that there's nobody out there actually getting charged, being assessed to be in a drain district so that's my question is, are there people being assessed in these drain districts for this?
There are currently no active assessments. There will be with the Cass Road drain, which is ongoing right now, and then next will be the Duck Lake drain. And then I just received an email from the Old Mission drain and we met up there with Jim Johnson, the engineer from the Road Commission, and there's maintenance needs in that drainage district. And then also the Deepwater Point drain, there was a request for maintenance there.
Okay, so this money will be coming out of those assessments, then, not out of the general fund?
Correct.
So, and this will be as far as you know, would this be the first time that there will actually be residences in drain districts being assessed fees?
No, they were assessed originally when the drainage districts were set up. Originally, they were assessed, and that's how those account balances came about for maintenance of those drains.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Anybody else? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. We will move on to Michigan State Extension.
I would move to accept the item A3.
You already did.
Do we?
Yeah, and you
Yes.
voted on it.
Oh,
You
okay.
moved earlier and then we discussed.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought when you pulled them off, you had to.
Well, we already,
Gather them
and
later.
You made
said
the
so
motion
moved,
to
so-
accept it,
and then
and he made the
we
motion to
voted and-
second.
Yes.
Okay.
Did, you jumped right in there. Hi, Jennifer.
Hi. I wasn't certain if you were ready for me yet, just didn't want to...
We are now.
Okay. I'm here today in front of you to have our agreement for our extension services approved for your signature today. This annual agreement merely just outlines the contributions of each partner, Michigan State University Extension and Grand Traverse County, and it continues the investment of university resources into Grand Traverse County. The document reflects the costs of our services, which was approved within the annual county budgeting process that recently concluded. Again, we're always grateful to be in partnership with Grand Traverse County so that we can provide valuable education and outreach to the community. I know I've recently been in front of the board presenting our annual accomplishments, and obviously those might still be in your memory banks there, but just as a quick highlight, we really tend to and want to really invest our resources into what's most needed in the community. We're focused on growing new businesses with our product center work, as well as our support for local agriculture, really helping them combat some of the critical pests that could really dramatically reshape our cherry and apple industry as we know it. Again, working with our youth, we've reached over 20% of the eligible youth population in Grand Traverse County through our 4-H program. We also work a lot with our local gardeners through our Master Gardener program. They do countless hours, actually around almost 2,000 hours in Grand Traverse County on beautification projects, on community education, on working in local gardens to produce food that's given at food pantries. And again, that's a product of what we do. So again, here tonight as part of our annual appropriation, and as far as our agreement goes, just here for your approval.
So move.
Support.
Moved by Commissioner Gorfulet, supported by Commissioner Johnson. Discussion? Any questions for Ms. Berkey? We just wanted to hear her lovely voice, right? Okay. Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, there you go.
And thank you again for the Coraliers. I did know two of the youngsters that were there. One played varsity volleyball with my older daughter, and the other was actually, the one that played the violin was Mark Breederland, who does our Sea Grant work. That was his daughter. So we appreciated that. I took some great pictures to send to their parents, so thank you again.
Thank you.
Have a
Awesome
great
teenagers.
Have a great rest of your evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on. Commission on Aging, on-call contract services, home health care, and harbor care. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm Cindy Kinlan with the Commission on Aging.
Right into the microphone so the people
I'm Cindy
can hear.
Kinlan with the
Thank you.
Grand Traverse Commission on Aging. Our first action request is, for 10 years, the Commission on Aging in Grand Traverse County has been working with an outside vendor to help offer coverage when we're low on staffing, with vacations, holidays, so we can make sure that we provide those consistent services. We actually put out a bid in October to 16 different companies. 2 responded, and actually yesterday one of them rescinded. They took it back. So we now only have 1. And that is in-home health care. And the costs, again, are highlighted here as far as what would be in our budget, not to exceed $47,000. We try not to use them at all costs. Sometimes we use our own, for overtime or extra shifts that, one of our own staff would work. But we want to make sure that we consistently, there's still a lot of people that really need to have these services, and we don't want to have them miss them on certain days.
Question?
Sure.
Yes.
Did I see that you, that there were like 20 initial inquiries, or you sent out to 20, and you only got 2 responses back?
I wasn't here at that time, but I thought there were 16. Was there 20? 16.
Whatever. There was a lot. How come nobody else bid?
You have to step up to the microphone.
You mean the bid
Thank you very
process?
much.
The bid process is a lot?
The bid process is a lot,
Yep.
and we might be calling 2 weeks ahead or a week ahead or that day, and they don't have the staffing.
Okay. Well, I'd be interested in tracking what the feedback is as to why we're not getting more bids. It's troubling that we're not getting more bids. If the process is cumbersome, and I know from myself from having to, apply for contract work for certain things that I do, it's onerous. Sometimes you get a bid and you only have like a week to respond, and if you happen to be busy, you may just say to heck with it, I just don't have time. So I'd be interested. I don't want to make more work for you, but if maybe you could query some of those people that you solicited and provide us with some feedback so that we know Is our process not working? Is there something that we can do to encourage more bids? I think we get a better product, obviously, the more competition that we have, so.
You know, and in talking with the two vendors that actually came forward, you know, there's a cause and concern of them trying to maintain staffing when it's not a consistent usage. So because it's, you know, changes, they have a difficult time. And like the rest of us, they're having a hard time finding the type of personnel that they want to hire.
What about like Kelly Services or people like that?
We've called them in the past to HR and they will not go into the homes.
Really? Interesting. Kind of crazy. All right, thank you so much. So I would move on that one.
So moved?
Yep, so moved.
Okay.
So supported.
So supported, okay. Moved by Commissioner Gorfulet, supported by Commissioner Klaus. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, yes, that one. The personal emergency response units, we have a budget adjustment, and we're having technical issues. Oh, all right, give us just a minute. Bonnie can be your technical advisor. It's like shooting at a shooting gallery, isn't it? Okay. Oh, very good.
Thank you.
Okay.
So 1 out of every 4 adults over the age of 60 in the United States fall once a year. If they fall once, they're doubling the risk of falling again. The leading cause of injury and death in people over 65 are falls. Actually, even for all ages, it's the second leading cause of accidental death in all ages. We find that 90% of the people that are over 60, if they are actually get services within an hour of falling, they have a 90% chance of recovery and going home immediately. So for our mission is to really try to catch people that are falling. And one of the ways we can do this is with a home alert system. And Guardian is actually ranked the #1 company in the United States. And currently we have two basic units that are only used within certain footage within the house. The first one has to have actually a home line. So a lot of people are getting away from that now. So we're seeing less and less of that. The second one is one that you can, again, has to be used in the home, but it can be used through your cellular or SIM card, that kind of thing. In January of this year, and the reason that we're asking for an increase in the number of units that we have, right now we're approved to use 600, and we're asking for an additional 200, because we're encouraging especially some of our clients to really get a home monitor. The newest one that's coming out is they can use anywhere, take with them any place. It's got a two-way speaker like the other ones. This one has GPS tracking. The thing we really like, it has a built-in fall sensor, so if someone falls down, it's going to alarm. Now, if you fall asleep on the couch, it's also going to alarm, but it's going to wake you up. But the key thing is that if you do fall down, yeah, it could happen to all of us, right? But if you do fall down and you can't for some reason talk, there is a two-way speaker again that they can actually talk to you. But if you can't talk, actually you are connected with an emergency response system. And if they get no response from the person who's fallen at all, they will call 911 or whatever emergency systems.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
I saw back there, AT&T is the provider of that, or the cell network. How is their coverage? I mean, if that's to be on the go, I know AT&T used to not be good here in northern Michigan in total, so.
I don't know, I have AT&T and it's great, so I can't.
Same here.
I travel all over northern Michigan, and it's not, I mean, I have to use Verizon because of that, so but I haven't looked at it in years though either, so.
Yeah, that is the one that Guardian uses. I'm not sure why.
Okay.
That's a very good question, though. This is our sliding scale. So the unit, if you called up tonight and wanted to get a Guardian, one of the GPS units, it would cost you $49.50 a month. So our clients, they're actually, because it's a larger number that we're getting, we're able to get them for much less. And as you can see, I mean, we've had some members that are actually in tears because they've been trying to get a unit for a long time and they can't afford $50. If you make less than 1,300. Some people make less than 700. You can't afford that much money every month. And we can literally actually get it for them for $2 a month. And on our Fee Assist, it's even less than that. So we have 56 people on a Fee Assist program. So again, why do we want to have 200 more? Because consistently we've been just about staying at that right number, 584 last year. And we don't have in this when they actually called 911. I don't know why we didn't have that data, but going forward we will. So all we have is when you call the police and the fire department. They do say, though, that they usually don't have to always call 911. Sometimes they can get like a contact person, whoever's on their list or whatever, to help out. So it's not always that. I kind of feel, though, that if you save 1 or 2 people, you've actually done a great job. I mean, it's well worth the effort. And again, in 2017, we are now at 598 units. We have 144 people that have already called and asked for the new GPS that are already current users, and we have 10 brand-new people who are on the list. Now, these 3 examples were within the last 6 months. Client 3 was actually, since I've been here, Client 1 fell in her bedroom, and she was not able to push the button. She didn't have a unit on her person. She was found over the weekend, and she actually passed away. And they think that she was out there from Tuesday afternoon through the weekend. Very sad. Another client fell in her garage more than 300 feet away. Again, it was 300 feet is the range. From the base unit, the client was found by her homemaker aide on the floor of the garage, and it is suspected that she was there for more than 24 hours. Client 3 is since I've been here. This woman, actually, the caregiver, came to the door, was banging on the door, and looked in and saw her feet sticking out. She called 911. They were able to get in. The woman had been, they estimated, there for 12 hours. She couldn't move, and she was awake. So she had her arm pinned down, and she couldn't have pushed the button. So in this case, with the GPS, the alarm would have been off, and they would have alerted someone in 5 minutes, right away, actually, in a number of minutes. So that's why we're promoting, and why we'd like to have the 200 extra units. We're already at the max as it is. So, with your permission.
How many false calls do they have? If you, set it on the counter and your dog knocks it off, or?
Yeah, that I don't know.
Shut it off.
Okay.
Will you remind us of the budget request?
Yes. And it's really dependent on we don't know how many people are going to actually want the GPS. So
absolutely.
We're really promoting that.
Right.
So the total cost could be $194,000, as much as that.
And so would that be going forward cost? That'd be an annual cost, or is that a one-time cost?
That would be an annual cost.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. So move.
No support? I'll support it. So moved by Commissioner Gorfulet, supported by Commissioner Crawford. Go ahead.
Yeah, just another question. Maybe if you contact our 911 dispatch and ask them where the weak areas are, because I think it's true that some service providers are weaker in some areas than others. Mm-hmm. So if it doesn't take the phone call, that's going to be a problem.
Yes, you know what? The data shows that 50% of falls all occur at home. Mm-hmm. So that's another information we'll put there, but that's a good idea.
Yeah, because 911 dispatch, one of the things they might say back is that in a weak area, texting works, but the phone doesn't. So,
right.
That's hard to do, though, if you're...
No, I'm just saying.
Can't push the button, that's even harder.
So if it's weak, it's not going to work as a phone call.
Right.
Selection.
Anybody else? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, there you go. You're welcome.
I have a question while we're on this topic.
Okay.
Whatever happened to the Commission on Aging specialty board that was going to be put together? I haven't heard anything of it, and I guess I would like to advocate for reinstatement of the kind of board that we used to have, which was a citizen advisory panel of people, because I think right now they're flying solo. I mean, we don't have any oversight from the community or from the board. We don't have any board members. It just feels like it's been a really long time that we have not had eyes on, and that's no criticism of them. I think it's a resource that could be available to them that has not been available for most of this year.
I know I spoke to Chris Kramer about that the other day, and they had the advisory board that we had set up originally when the original board was dissolved earlier this year had some specific requirements and that were quite onerous to meet, I think.
Yes.
We didn't have enough applicants. So maybe in January we need to.
I just wanted to throw it out here tonight because I
Thank
know
you.
in January we're going to be doing our organizational meeting
Yes.
and looking at new things, but I'd like us to consider reinstating that citizen panel with, I think it would be appropriate to have a board member as part of that, just like we do most of the others.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Noted. Thank you. Okay. We're moving on to finance. We have some budget amendments and PA 621 requests.
So move.
Support.
Moved by Commissioner Gorfulet, supported by Commissioner Johnson. Any questions on this, or we're all
They look
good?
pretty standard to me.
It is. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Moving on to the claims approval.
Oh, yeah, I would look at them all, I guess.
So move.
Yes. I would have bunched them all together personally. Yeah,
Well, we'll do
November.
them separately.
So moved on the November 2017 claims approval.
Support.
We switched them this time. So moved by Commissioner Johnson, supported by Commissioner Gorfulet. Any questions, thoughts? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, do we have any questions on the budget to actual revenue and expenditure report, which is there for our information?
So move.
We don't have to do anything with it. It's for information only. Just saying, you're pretty quick with those so moved.
Well, you had it in the same category as everything else, so.
I did, but it was just for
Okay,
us to
then.
look at. Okay. We will move on to administration custodial services contract. What's happening?
There's a memo in your packet that outlines, at the November meeting, we had 3 bids. No, I'm sorry, there was 5 bids that were sought. And it came back to administration, and we looked at the bids and also the bid proposal that went out. And as outlined on page 73, we received several bids, with one low bid being from the Michigan Building Cleaning and Maintenance of $919,883. And our current custodial contract, Porcelain Patrol, had a bid of $1,349,000, which is a difference of $143,153 per year. We went out for bid for a 3-year contract. And there was 5 major items that needed to be identified within the bid that each contractor needed to comply with, and that was the verification of at least 25 employees, that they were in business for 10 years, that this contract being awarded by Grand Traverse County would not be more than 20% of their business income. They had to have letters of references, and that all of the employees must pass a background check to be able to service the county facilities and the parks. The low vendor complied with all. They were pretty close to not complying with the 20% of the total business income. Porcelain did meet all requirements of the bid. But one of the components that we did not go back and look at is when you look at the 3-year contract of over $1.3 million, is how is that servicing Grand Traverse County? And would it be more beneficial for us to have staff in-house to service the cleaning needs for Grand Traverse County? And we have not done that yet. And we being administration and facilities, feel that it's needed to go back, ask the departments, are your custodial services being met? And if we do it in-house, what other services are not being currently done that could be done internally? We would like to go back and do that with the departments and look at, would it be more beneficial to have it in-house than having it a contract? And then bring that back to the county board in March or April to make that recommendation. And if it's into the board, that'll give us, into the budget, that'll be able to give us time to go through the budget process in 2019, as well as go out for a bid to be able to have time to come back to the board, make a recommendation if we do a bid, and have time, if a new vendor came in, to service up their business, to be able to do that. We just don't have time to do that in 2 weeks or even a month to change a new vendor. So we're recommending that Porcelain has agreed to extend the contract for 1 additional year.
At the current terms.
Not at the current terms that was bid. So the cost of the contract would be for 1 year, $449,784.
Which is more or less than this year.
It's more than this year.
By how much?
I think it's about 12%.
That's a tidy raise.
It's a raise. Joe from Porcelain Patrol is here. That's also including in the commodities, all of the services that we have. It includes that as well.
So
But
moved.
Joe,
So move.
okay. I just want to make sure that it is 12%, because I don't have that number in front of me, but it is increasing over the last 3-year contract. And we've been contracting for custodial services for 6 years. And I think it's time to really look back and see, is it time to bring it back in-house, or is it servicing us well by contracting?
I agree, that's why I so move.
Is there support?
Support.
Okay, moved by Commissioner Gorfulet, supported by Commissioner Mayer.
Does the bidder want to speak?
Ken, sure. Go ahead. Welcome.
Thank you. The increase, part of that increase...
Can you state your names, please?
Yes, my name is Joe Seibert, owner of Porcelain Patrol Service.
I'm Guadalupe Steinberg. I'm the general manager of Porcelain Patrol.
In the letter that's in your packet, you'll see that there were 3 or 4 things that were added. Some of the parts that were added, the jail was added as well. So that's some of the increased cost. Overall, over the course, if this was going out for another 3 years, it's actually less than a 1% increase, so it's actually pretty negligible over the entire course of the contract. So when you start looking into the facilities that have been added, we're really keeping the pricing the same as pretty much it has been the last 5 years. So there really isn't an increase in cost. It's the added buildings and services that have been added on. The only really increase is the cost in consumables. They have gone up over the last 5 years of about 15%. So we have to be able to pay for those products that go into your facilities. So, garbage bags, paper towels, all that good stuff. So.
Bob and then Tom.
So we added some new facilities basically to clean. Who was cleaning them before, I guess, and why did we have to go to this?
The jail was being cleaned in-house by the inmates, and we took over the non-secured areas. This is where the officers are, the front lobby, the area behind the glass there, you can in there, and then the locker rooms and stuff in that area. So that was added on, and commodities there had not been supplied by us prior to that. So, and then there's a few parts. There's Vasa, Medley,
Medalli.
Medalli, sorry, I was found. And then there's the little one around as well.
It's on page 73, Beitner, Medalli, Twin Lakes, and Vasa.
Tom?
Well, I'd just like to thank you for adapting to a 1-year contract when the bidding was for a 3-year contract.
Well, we certainly appreciate your business. We would love to stay with you. We think we have a great company. We're local folks here, and we try to do a very good job for you as best we can. We're proud of being able to be part of the community. We've been around a long time, and we appreciate your business very much. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Bonnie, we have to do a roll call vote on this one.
Klaus?
Yes.
Gorfulet?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Crawford?
And I have to abstain, because even though they don't realize it, I work on their books. So I abstain.
I have a question, not for them.
Okay.
For administration.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Same to you.
Hearing the criteria for the bid, who decides? Because I'm concerned that you have to be in business for 10 years before you can bid to clean. 10 years. I mean, I think you could prove yourself in a lot less time than 10 years. I mean, it seems very arbitrary, and I don't know that someone who's been in business cleaning 10 years is more qualified than someone who's been in business 5 years. And it presumably bumps people who maybe are starting out, who may be eager, who may be hard workers, who may be whatever. So I'm just curious as to, do we revisit what the criteria are? Are they vetted by anybody? Are they random? How does it come about?
The RFB, this was a request for bid that went out, was taken from when we originally did it 5 years ago. So we really didn't look at, is that the criteria that we want? So we will be doing that, looking at, do we do a bid or do we do a proposal as well? So we will be looking at that criteria and asking other public agencies, how do they do it? Because we talked to TCAPS as well as, well, Kingsley is part of TCAPS, and Munson as well. You know, how do they do their proposals and their bids? So,
which ties into my second question, which was at our last meeting, we talked about the administration creating a master list of contracts as to what contracts are out there, who's in charge, when are they up for bid, what's the... Oh, good, it's even color-coded for my ease of use, which is wonderful.
Look at that, ask and you shall receive.
Yeah.
Isn't that awesome?
Okay, so you're working on that.
We
That's
are.
a work in progress.
So that list currently is what administration, and we're kind of picking up facilities too. So that's what that list is, and then we're going to get with departments to capture their contracts as well.
Hallelujah. Has this never been done before? I mean,
We didn't find any
Are we
evidence
inventing the
of it
wheel here?
existing. A little bit.
Well, congratulations. That's a good thing. You can send
Well, what I was going to add to it is, you know, initially, usually when you do some contract, you save some money, but over time, you tip that over. And I think it is something that's important enough to keep an eye on, to say, look, here's what it cost us before we started doing this. Because, I mean, at the 1.3 million, I have a hard time believing we can't do it in-house for
That's a lot
cheaper,
of money.
you know?
And have better control potentially, and can utilize those staff members for other things at times.
I mean, I don't want to expand the workforce per se, but if it makes sense for us to do it in-house cheaper and better, and not that I'm talking about quality by any means, because I don't know, so I haven't heard anything about it, so, but, you know, to me, and that's for everything that we do, you know.
That we contract out.
Yeah, you know, historically, like I said, you'll see a
Resource recovery.
great savings and everything else in it, and then all of a sudden it does tip over and you're spending more than what you thought you were going to, so. Because then you get over a barrel, you know, because then you try to ramp up and get enough employees to do this and everything else.
Well, we run into those rolling contracts too, and I'm really, I hope that that's a part of the analysis, because these rolling contracts where, you know, if you don't do it by the drop dead date, boom, you're stuck for another 3 years. I mean, we can't have that. That's not fiscally responsible. So there's some of that still out there. So, and my last question, if I might, the audit bid. Have we gotten the audit bids in, and are we
The
making
bids are coming
headway?
in. They were due on the 20th of this month, and then Dean will be here at the first of the year to work with his audit committee and bring a recommendation to the board on the January 17th board meeting.
Awesome. I just didn't want us to get into the situation you were in last year, so.
It hasn't fallen through the cracks.
Awesome.
it's on the list, in process.
There you go. Read your
Yay.
list.
Very good. Thank you so much. This is great. Great stuff.
Okay. Speaking of contracts, DK Security contract extension.
Right, so this is a contract that the board had entered into in 2013 for services through 2016, and then in 2016, the board approved a one-year extension with the ability to extend for an additional 2 one-year contracts. So this actually expired July 1st, which we've discovered through our analysis. So we are asking for an extension, that one-year extension to July 1st of 2018, which will allow us to, in the first quarter of the year, do an analysis of, doing it in-house or externally, and doing exactly what we just described for the custodial contract. So the Sheriff's Department is looking at what the resources would be required if they were to provide the services, and maybe even, increasing the surveillance at the front end so there's not as much surveillance required at the back end. So that there have been meetings that have taken place, and we are working on that.
So moved.
Support. Moved by Commissioner Gorfulet, supported by Commissioner Johnson. Any further discussion? Tom?
Is there ever a time when there's more than one security person in this building?
In this building, I don't
In this
believe so.
building.
I think in the court rooms there
Two.
are. Right.
Over there at least?
Right.
Yeah.
There's nobody
And more
in
if there are.
governmental center.
After 5.
During the day, yeah.
Unless
down
there's a
there right
meeting.
now.
Yeah, well, because there's
But
a
during
meeting
the
going on,
day,
there's somebody
yeah.
at the desk. But I guess it would be nice if occasionally they got up and went into the parking lot, or they took a sweep of the area, they could.
They do.
I think they do rounds.
They
Do
do
they?
that. They do
Yeah.
at the
Rounds,
end
I've
of the
seen
day.
them
I
do
know
that
they
at
come in
night,
our
yeah.
office after
Do they go
5.
outdoors?
Oh, yeah.
I'm
I've seen them
assuming- I don't
outdoors.
know. I do that.
No.
That I don't.
No? Okay.
Yeah, the young one, that one time when he first started, inadvertently locked the doors while he did his rounds,
Oops.
so.
Gosh, it could have been you, Bob.
There's important things to pass on, so.
Okay. Anybody else? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Moving on. We have some ad hoc committee recommendations. The
You know, we already
library
had
and the
those on
veterans
there.
were already on there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, but-
I wasn't sure why you added those,
I
but
don't,
Just to be silly.
because
would move
the
that
list
we-
they gave me had it on there.
I would move that we accept the library board recommendations.
So moved?
You mean second?
He does.
He does.
Yeah, support.
Everybody's
Been a
really
long
punchy.
day.
Moved by Commissioner Gorfulet, supported by Commissioner Johnson. Any discussion? Tom?
Yeah, I would just like to appeal to the public that the library board is important, and I would encourage you to fill out an application for maybe more than one board. You can do it online. The library is important. Now, these two candidates are both incumbents, and I would like to see more applicants. Thank you.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Veterans Board. The Veterans Ad hoc met Monday
Yes.
and interviewed quite a number
So moved.
of people. Okay. We had to do two separate. We're going to do two separate.
So he's moving one.
Well,
We're going to,
didn't the resolution have both?
no,
Yes, it's
Yes.
got all three on there.
you're right. It's got it all right
So we
there.
could do all of that at once.
Okay.
Correct, Chris?
Yeah, we can do that, sure.
Excellent.
Is there a second?
Support.
Moved by Commissioner Johnson, supported by Commissioner Klaus. Any discussion at all?
Well, I just want to make sure the public's clear. The legislation changed for the makeup of the Veterans Board, so we were able to expand it to 7. Currently, there's 4. There's one vacancy that was on there, so we had the good and bad thing that we had for most of our boards this year, except for library, is we had a lot of quality applicants, and you hate to say no to a lot of people, but we had some good applicants, so.
It was a hard choice.
Yep. So we have 3 new members there that will be appointed. So.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Okay. We have a request for a resolution of support for coastal zone management grant for the Boardman Lake Loop in the Valley Park, which we heard about last week.
So move.
I'll second.
Moved by Commissioner Gorfulet, supported by Commissioner Mayer. Any questions or discussion? We heard a lot about this last week.
So then this cost us nothing, right?
Correct.
No, I missed last week, but I see where it says 0 total
Yes,
cost from
your
us.
favorite number.
It's free, Bob.
There is no free lunch.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Move on to our Martin Luther King Training Day, which we also heard about last week.
So moved.
Okay.
Support.
Moved by Commissioner Johnson, supported by Commissioner Gorfulet, or vice versa. Any discussion? This is the great thing about having a study session, because we've already heard all about it.
Would Bill Hendry like to speak, or?
He can if you want him to.
Oh, well,
He spoke the last time.
He
He's
did.
got something
do
to
we
add.
have a more definitive list of what's going to be?
It's in your binder.
Okay.
that they
Well, I have it
put
right in
on.
front of me, but I'm just...
Yeah.
no, okay.
And MSU volunteered today that they could present any of their health and wellness or, managing conflict, communication skills. So we'll go through their offerings and pick some of those as well.
Okay.
Anything to add, Bill, at all? So no. Okay.
Just tightening up the
Okay. So we have to approve the plan for Martin Luther King Day. Did somebody already move that?
Yes.
Did. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, moving right along. We move on to the union contracts. We will start with the Teamsters Central Dispatch Unit.
I know you probably just got those this afternoon. I wasn't thrilled with just a little bit of time to look at them. I believe the answer is yes, but were the concerns addressed from Peter Cole in there?
Yes, they were.
And those were all back to, okay.
Yes, they were.
So Peter's seen that? And
Yes,
he's
yep, that was in the
approved it?
cover note that it was agreeable to Peter, administration, and the unions.
Okay. Both, and that goes for both?
Correct.
Okay.
The same language is in both.
Did somebody move?
No.
Not yet.
I'll
I know
do
you
it.
want to.
Or-
There's only 5 of us, Carol. I mean, somebody else jump in.
I know, moved by Commissioner Gorfulet, supported by Commissioner Johnson. Any further questions? Go ahead.
No, I know it's been a long road this year. And I know Mr. Johnson spoke earlier about the contracts and that, and it does suck, when we can't give everybody everything they want, but we really have to look over the best interest of the county right now. We're making headway on that unfunded pension. So, my hat's off to everybody involved in these, both sides. I think it was a good compromise.
It won't always be this way.
No.
No. Anybody else? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. To do the next one separately. This is the Teamsters General Unit.
So moved.
Support.
Moved by Commissioner Johnson, supported by Commissioner Klaus. Any questions on this one? Concerns? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Done with that. This is our second chance for public comment. If anybody's left who would like to make public comment, now's your chance. We all good? Okay, moving on. We have our department reports. We have Ms. Wells. Ms. Wells from the Parks and Rec Senior Center. And Ms. Erickson as well. So Cheryl usually likes 5 minutes, but...
That's correct.
Okay.
No, we know this. We'll try.
Is that 5 each? Or
We've actually heard a
No,
lot
it's
about
not
the
5
years of
each.
Parks and Rec.
Okay.
No, that's
You have your
total.
task.
Total.
Okay. Go.
Go. I know, Chris, this is a mountainous task.
I know it is for me.
Go, girl.
I'm Chris Erickson, Director of County Parks and Recreation. I have with me Lori Wells, the manager of the Senior Center. Lori's going to go first.
Oh, good.
We'll keep it really short and sweet. So the Senior Center is in our 48th year of providing services to the seniors of the county this year. And I think we're doing a fabulous job. We have over 50,000 units this year. We had 1,200 new people registered in 2017. We have anywhere 120, 150 people a day coming through our doors. We have 5 locations now since we have become a network. So we have locations in Traverse City, Acme, Fife Lake, Interlochen, and Kingsley. I think everybody's happy. We're not on the front of the fold, the top of the fold of the paper, so that's a good thing. So life is good at the Senior Center, and on the docket for us this year is going to be our building renovation. So we will be coming back to you and talking to you about how much money's in our fund balance, can we use any of that, what money we have available, and then getting that final push for our capital campaign. We had $185,000 given to us this year through a couple memorials. So that's a big chunk for us, so that's what our agenda is for this year. Thank you.
Thank you. Awesome.
Good job.
The hard act to follow. Okay, I'm going by park. Civic Center Park. We entered into longer agreements this year with the partners American Legion Baseball and Norte because they are making an investment in us and we want to make an investment in them. They help us with field grooming and Norte helps us with the property in general. Friends of Easling Pool, they're over halfway to their goal of $625,000 to refurbish the pool. And Rotary Charities just awarded a $70,000 capital challenge grant. Everything's going great. The goal is to have the refurbishment take place next summer. So keep sending in those donations, everybody. Thank you. YMCA still is managing the pool. We are currently in halfway through a 2-year contract with them. 38,840 visits as of November 30th. Now there are last year at this time there were 30,000 visits. Now there are 365 household memberships. This translates to 585 individuals. About 900 walk through the doors each month for just water fitness classes alone. Over 170 volunteers this year built the Campbell Community Playground. At no cost to parks, dead and dying trees were removed this year from the north and west sides of the Civic Center. A new boiler was purchased and installed for the pool. A big chunk of preventative maintenance was done on the air handler. Things still seem to be working well at the pool, knock on wood. 2018 improvements. We are going to have a living classroom, hopefully, at the Civic Center for youth cyclists and walkers, thanks to Norte, and we're going to work on a Safe Routes to School grant together. We want to improve the northwest corner where the trees have come down. We've executed an easement with the developer for the Rite Aid Starbucks project. In return, he's given us $10,000 toward making improvements to that corner, connecting the TART trail with the sidewalk. And we want to do some landscaping, and the developer is also going to pay for landscape design. This is exciting for us in 2018. Norte is interested in that building along Front Street. We call it the Pugsley Building. They want to clean it up and use it for bike storage and their bike shop. And so a lot of that labor that we would have to absorb, hopefully they will help with that quite a bit. The Falconers Mahogany Foundation, who funded the majority of the playground. In addition, our community just donated $10,000 to the playground again so that we can get one last piece of equipment that we couldn't afford. They also donated $25,000 to the pool last week, so we owe them a great debt of thanks. They're big supporters of Parks and Rec, the Civic Center, and the county. We also are looking for about $30,000 to include another completely ADA accessible piece of equipment play structure in the playground. Some of the folks from the Disabilities Network have approached us, so I would like to make that happen next year, so about $30,000 we're looking for to do that. Maple Bay, we still have a strong partnership with the Land Conservancy. Traverse City to Charlevoix Trail is still being planned with Maple Bay as a designated trailhead. I don't know when that will happen. We secured the old farmhouse and barn on the east side of the highway this year because they were open and we had squatters in there, I think. This year, Maple Bay was designated as part of the Sunset Coast Bird Trail. Medalli Park, we increased our rentals of the pavilion from 3 to 10 this year, so threefold. But Medalli Park is hot, as you know. Thank you for just voting for the Coastal Zone Management Grant. The livery service has increased from last year. Daily averages 20 kayak rentals, 10 bike rentals, 6 SUP rentals. This is way too fast for me.
You're doing fine.
The River Park. Coach me on. The River Park Rangers Facilities Management, and the Conservation District have helped us to start cleaning up the overgrown vegetation and invasive species at Medalli Park, which, as you know, we have a coastline there, but we can't really see the lake quite often. So the Conservation District is going to work with us on a longer-term plan to keep on removing overgrowth and maintain healthy vegetation. We have high hopes for this park, especially when it's going to be designated as the trailhead. Business Development Team just finished this, and the Parks Board approved a business plan for Medalli Park to be submitted to your board next month. Meyer House, we put in a new septic system in September. The renter would like a longer lease there. He's quite happy. He takes care of all the maintenance like the lawn mowing, the groundskeeping for us, which saves us money with facilities. Nature Education Reserve Conservation District, they do a great job for us. We received a 2% grant this year for $10,000 to help offset maintenance costs and improvements necessary as the dams are removed. We had 96 campers at Power Island. I'm switching properties now. We want to build 2 rustic cabins there for rent next year. We have a wish list. We need a new boat. Twin Lakes Park.
Throw that out there.
We still need that boat.
I know.
I know. I'm always lobbying. We had 61 reservations at Twin Lakes Park this year. That's up about 10% from last year. Oh, I'm sorry, we had 84, up 10% from last year. Crystal Bindi Studios finished their second year offering Twin Lakes fitness classes. They are seeking a longer agreement. They recently held a holiday party and they raised funds for Twin Lakes facility maintenance. They're very dedicated to keeping that place wonderful. We will work with Crystal Bindi to have some larger fundraisers next year. We used a 2% grant to remodel and make the bathroom in the lower level more accessible for Crystal Bindi. We installed new windows there this year. We also cleaned out 2 unused cottages at Twin Lakes to be used for overnight rentals next summer. Improvements in 2018, we plan to install an accessible sidewalk around the back of the lodge. We already have funds earmarked for that from a grant from years ago. Paint exterior of the dormitory and work on a plan to move the beach to the north. Bermley Keystone property, we're still working with T-Base to come up with a plan to develop that property. We, Parks and Rec Commission, we formed an ad hoc committee this year devoted to the future of parks to research potential for a millage and recreation authority. So we've listened to you and we are looking at ways to become more independent financially, possibly otherwise. Parks challenges, staffing at the Civic Center, Medalli Park, and Twin Lakes Parks. I know that Horse and Patrol was just up here talking about how some parks were added to their list this year, and that was because facilities management used to clean the bathrooms at Beitner Park, Medalli Park, and the Vasa Trailhead, and they don't have enough staff to do it anymore. And they were barely able to do it last year. Now they definitely can't do it. Marty has, the facilities director has informed me. So that's why we had to add Horse and Patrol on. And we also have staffing issues in terms of striping the ball fields. We had rangers do it this year because facilities management could not do it. We would love to see some facilities management staff increases, to be honest. I mean, increasing in staffing because our customers will suffer, especially at Civic Center. We get many, as you know, Commissioner Johnson, and I know Neil knows out there too, we get a lot of use out of those ball fields, not just with American Legion Baseball. We have 9 long-term users. That probably will increase this year. They're a hot commodity, those fields are.
How you doing, Chris?
Good. I think I'm finished. Have a happy holiday. I can't wait to work with all of you in 2018. Can you believe, like, how long did that take?
10. Twice as long, but...
But you got an awful lot in
Indulge
those
me.
10 minutes. Thank you very much.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you have any questions, I'll answer them next year.
In your next 5 minutes. Okay, thank you. Notices?
An angel just got its wings.
Okay. That was a very Christmassy comment. Very nice. No closed session? No. Yes, ma'am.
Just give an update. Amanda Flowers had brought up an ADA issue at the last meeting, and that has gone out for bid, and we're...
Oh, at the courthouse?
Yes.
Wonderful.
Okay,
And
good.
then there was some glass, reinforced glass that was being done, and that's already being taken care of right now.
Okay.
Super.
Thank you very much. Anybody else?
Was there going to be an announcement about our retreat, or has the date not been secured?
The 20th was being thrown around?
Was floated out. I think we've heard from several commissioners, but I don't know if everyone has weighed in yet.
Raise your
We
hand if that's a
haven't.
bad day for you. Well, there's 5.
And if you're not here, you lose. So.
Kind of. I'm not assigning you to anything but except the 20th of January, so that might be it. Okay. All right, no closed session?
Nope. Wonderful.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and we are adjourned. Thank you. I don't know why I'm pushing back. I have a big stack.